Good morning everyone and welcome back to week 3. It is day 11 of the grand organ rebuild. Today we're a man down, so Pip and I are going to make the best of it. Michael is back at the chateau and in his little house he's having some radiators fitted, so he needs to be there to oversee the works, but that's cool because there's loads we can be getting on with. The job is at the back where I did the woodwork in the swell box. I've got to make some corners and just firm it up, and then we're on to this lovely old framework which we're going to then get all the interlocking bits. So they're all tongue and grooved, all these parts, so we have to deconstruct it a bit, but we're going to get it all together like another big jigsaw puzzle, and then we're going to square it all up. I've got to replace these manifolds on the front because this bit that you see in the front of the organ, the front wind chest, it has these bits where it takes the air from here and blows it into this front plate, and in here there are holes and they hold those lovely big gold pipes, so that's going to be a point of focus. So we're going to make sure it's all exactly right, get it all squared up, and yeah, I think the job's a good one, and I think there might be someone else who's come to give us a hand, so
let's crack on.
Well, good morning everyone. Welcome back to another video. So I'm back in the kitchen this week and I've got quite a few jobs to do. First thing, other than that huge eyesore behind me, it's not an eyesore, it's really nice, it just needs a lot of work, is this cupboard which is in the corner. And originally when we had the room sandblasted by Martin, he started sandblasting it and he said, do you want me to continue? Because it would have taken him a bit more time. And I just said, no, stop, because it's a mismatch of wood and it's not in great condition. And so what I'm going to do today, I've started sanding it and I'm going to paint it. And in the comment section, a lot of people said to paint it a similar colour to the wall so it will blend in. And I think that's a fantastic idea. So funnily enough, when we renovated one of the bedrooms in the chateau, we used the same colour. So I've got Portland stone, number 77, which this room is. And this is an intelligent eggshell, so it's designed for wood. So yeah, didn't have to buy this. It was just hanging about in the chateau, and it's about half a tin, so it's perfect. So sanded it down, it's prepped to go. I've given it a bit of a clean and a dust off. So first coat of paint. This paint's a bit thick because it's been sat around for about 2 years, but it should be fine. Okay. Wow, that is thick. Oh, it's lovely. The great thing about it being incredibly thick is it will go in all these wormholes, wood wormholes, and it should create a sort of smooth-ish surface. Oh yes, I like that. Oh, I like it a lot.
Right, so we've been focusing around the back of the Swell box, which is that big black box with all the orchestral music coming from it. It was a bit rough, as we said before, because the back of it was always just a facade. And like I said, there was a praying area they made with those lovely Norfolk roses. They made a big false facade just to cover the back, because it's not the best looking. But we don't need to do that here. Obviously we have the wall, but we're just tidying up the corners, and yeah, then we can get on. I've got a few little bits of trim to do inside, and it's just going to keep it nice and stable and soft. So it's all firmed up, it's looking good. Yanis and I, once we've done that, are going to have another little clean the decks, and we're going to move on to getting all that lovely big frame back in position and getting it all squared up, and then onwards and upwards. So let's crack on.
Right, second one is painted. I'm going to let them dry now, and once they're dry, we're going to get some more doors off the cupboard, sand them, paint them, and then we'll sand the frame, paint the frame, and it should look amazing. Yeah, let's crack on some more.
Okay, so we are into the latter part of the day. We are now doing, as we said before, we've done the swell box. It's now completely finished. It just needs a bit of matte black paint or something to match in with what was there. You don't actually see that because it has those flaps on, so it's not really an issue, but I think we're just going to do it all again matte black inside. And now what we have is a bit of a conundrum, because this lovely old frame that sits is the external frame that holds these pieces in and looks like this all the way round this side of the organ, is completely separate to the inner frame. So all the gubbins that you saw Michael and I and everyone putting inside is actually, you might have seen before, when this isn't there, it's completely self-standing. But the only bit that is critical is the bit that holds those lovely gold pipes with these two manifolds on. That has to be exactly right with this so that it all lines up. So the problem we now have is, well, it's not a problem, it's a challenge. The challenge that we're faced with today is making sure that this is exactly right, because what happens, I'll just show you a little bit on here. We have a manifold, it has a gasket which we're going to replace. So it has two gaskets, one on the bottom and one on the back. And when it goes here, it goes onto that frame I spoke about behind being completely separate, but it needs to mate up exactly with this old, if you like, the exterior red frame. So I've got it about where we need it. Now we need to do a few tweaks to get it right. So Yanis and I this afternoon are going to try and get this organ as much built on the outside as possible. Some of you may notice these little indentations, or there's no paint. This will have been in the past where there was either a light for the organist or a switch or something that they've put on and they've just taken off. So what you're actually seeing is, this is the old, if you like, the original colour red, and this is just where they've taken stuff off and haven't put anything back. So obviously, as Billy and Michael have discussed, there's going to be some refurbishing of the colour or the paint jobs, which would be lovely. So yeah, it's going to look it'll look very authentic. But the job today, or for this afternoon, is get this frame all together, and then we've got up the top there, there's some woodwork that goes in, which is another part of the big puzzle, which holds these big boxes in place. So we're just going to get on, main frame in, and then we'll start doing all the other bits. So let's crack on. So we're up in the middle section of the organ, and what I'm trying to do now is, as we said before, we're installing the main frame, which is all the main exterior bits. We put a few of these uprights in, and Yanis and I are now going to put these other two in, and that gives us some idea of where it's going to be square. But the problem we're up against is, like I said, the outside is completely separate apart from that front piece to the inside mechanism. And now we're just having to tweak it, and there's some telltale signs. That's what we've said. It's so kind of, well, it's very magnificent, magical, interesting, intriguing, that when you actually look at all the little bits, they kind of tell you where they want to go. So you can see the rub marks on the piece of wood, you can see the dirty areas in it, and that's what we've done a lot of the stuff with. Just by looking at the age marks or the wear marks, we've been able to tell where stuff goes. And what I've noticed is down below, the main bit is, it's not far away, but it's just enough for us not to be able to make it nice and square. So I'll just show you that little bit down there, and then you'll get an idea of what we're on about. So this frame is the internal bit, and you can just see I've moved it over a little. There's a lighter piece of wood that comes through. So just this side of the shadow, and that piece of wood is telling me that that bit of wood needs to just come over. And actually, that's, as I say, the really cool bit is it does. And when it's there, it'll be spot on. So we're just going to sneak it over. We're going to use a nice wood lever because it's nice and soft, and just encourage it this way. So if Yanis, if you just have a look over there. So what we're talking about is the difference of that, which is, you know, under half an inch, well, I don't know. It's not much. So we're just going to put this main frame up to here, and you can see again the lighter bit of wood. So again, it's just telling us, speaking to us. This old girl is actually speaking to us. So yeah, we'll see how it lines up, and then we'll have a look at the levels. Are you ready, Yanis? Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. Okay, so I think I might have to just go. Good. Okay, so as we were saying, it literally does talk to you. I know that sounds a bit bizarre, but everything on this has just been a journey of discovery. Like we said, it's uncharted territory, but it's so fascinating because it does just work. When it's right, it's good, and that's the more we've been doing with it. Sometimes you feel, I was just saying to Billy, he came and was having a look, that some of these joins, these are okay, but the actual base plate, they'd put probably quarter of an inch of filler in the bottom to make it right. So of course, once you have one thing that's slightly out, everything else, it's that knock-on effect. But really happy now, frames going in, and Yanis and I are going to make it all nice and secure. So yeah, like we said, by the end of today, the exterior framing, and then we can figure out those bits of internal woodwork. So let's crack on.
Let's crack on.
Well, I've got them all sanded and the first coat of paint is on them. And this was a suggestion by quite a few viewers. Paint it the same colour as the walls, or a slightly different variant, just so it blends in nicely. And I agree. I really like it now. I hated it this morning, and now I love it. They're quite old doors. I think the frame is new because none of the doors actually fit it properly. But it's quite a nice thing because it's part of the old kitchen. And it's nice to preserve things like this. And in a building like this, I mean, there's only a few things you can preserve. The floors are knackered, they're not original. The ceilings, if they're in good condition, we can preserve them. Fireplaces, we can preserve those. But other than that, everything else is just, well, it's bland. So trying to preserve little things like this goes a long way, I think, in a building like this. So I'm going to put the other two doors on quickly. They're a little bit wet, but it doesn't matter. I'll put them on anyway, and then tomorrow I'll give them a second coat. But tomorrow I really want to get on with finishing the island And then later in the week, I'll need to osmo both doors and all the skirting. So let's put these doors on. Okay. It's not too bad. A little bit wet. Obviously, I've got to do the inside still, but I have sanded them. Right, that's one. That wasn't too tacky. Next one. Ooh. The insides do matter because obviously you'll see them when they're open. There we go. No, it goes that way. Does it go that way? I need to find some new hinges because the old ones were, well, they weren't working. But yeah, it looks really nice. I really like it. I love it. The backup battery system, you can see is all installed. We've got internet, backup battery system. Just needs playing around with because it's not working, but it should work. And what that will do, it will just, there's no power. We're going to have lights, socket electrics and things like that. So it's going to be pretty amazing if there was a power cut. Let me just put that, there we go. There we go, sorted. Okay, I'm going to go see what Nick and Yanis are up to because I'm sure they're having a lot more fun than I am. So yeah, see you in a bit.
We're in the final flurry of today, which is putting the lovely gold pipes back in position. So we took them down, as we said earlier, because we wanted to just check everything was about right, and it was. But now we're going to put them in because I fixed the manifold and that other piece, and all this frame now is about where it is. There's a few other little fixings, but we need to work out where those big boxes go. But we're going to crack on and get the big pipes in. So let's do it.
So we've got the pump on, we've got the gold pipes in, and this is going to be the first sound of the organ. So we obviously haven't got the keyboard or the console in yet and things like that, but sounds interesting. So this is the very first sound the organ's made since we've transported it. Really deep sound. Obviously the whole thing isn't together yet, and we do have a few air leaks, so once that's rectified and then we've got all the pipes in, it should sound quite interesting. And then we're on to tuning. They do sound like they're in sort of in tune though, because they're going up a note. There's obviously nothing there.
Okay, so we've had a successful day. We've got most of the frame exactly where we want it. We've put the pipes in, and as you probably heard, Billy got a bit of wind going through them. It's only temporary because there are very old pipes. The windways, they're smallish diameter pipes, but they link different areas of the organ. So until we've done those, obviously we were playing about with it just to get her to make a bit of noise. But she's sung for the first time, so yeah, really happy. Yanis and I have cracked on, and we've done all the bits and pieces we need to. So yeah, onwards and upwards. Tomorrow, hopefully Michael's back, and we're going to start putting all those tracker rods in and doing stuff like that. So once that's done, the tracker rods are in and all the linkages, we can set the keyboard, and then we can start putting all the pipes in. So exciting times ahead. Yeah, looking forward to it. So thank you all for watching.
See you tomorrow.